Welcome to What I Love About Sex, where some incredible guests and I, Steph Kanowski, will be bringing you the tools for improving your sex life with topics such as sex issues with your partner, sexual self-confidence, premature ejaculation, sexual shame, masturbation, sharing your fetishes, orgasmic pleasure, and more. Sex is still so taboo, and I personally believe that by improving our understanding and communication skills around sex, we can enhance our own self-pleasure as well as deepening our long-term romantic relationships. So listen in, try to stay open-minded, and let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. In this episode, I'm covering 10 ways to help you improve your sex life. And even if you're not having sex, this episode will still help you because it basically will point out things that maybe you haven't been working on or intentional about. And it will help you start taking more action in that area of your sex life. So let's dive in. Number one out of the 10 ways to improve your sex life is communication and building your communication skills. This is so important, and this is why I'm constantly talking about sex communication on my Instagram at Steph Ganowski. It's so important for you to speak up about what you're desiring, what's important to you, be able to ask your partner what's important to her, what she's desiring. Is she happy in the relationship? What do you guys think would be the best thing to connect you? Are you able to talk to each other when you're feeling disconnected and when things aren't so great? Are you able to ask about your sex life and be prepared to hear some things you maybe don't want to hear? This all takes communication skills, right? And with this comes along tonality, right? The way you're talking, the questions you're asking, specificity, right? Are you able to really get answers, or are you used to asking questions like, oh, was that sex good? Yeah, okay, cool. No, that's not helpful. We need to get in a habit of specific, vulnerable, consistent communication. All right, so this is a big one. If you have yet to follow me on Instagram, head over there at Steph Ganowski and you'll get some more training around communication. If you need massive help with this, of course, you can always work with me one-on-one, and you can fill out an application in the link of this episode. But let's move on. Number two is set realistic expectations. So what I mean by this is you want to understand no one's perfect. No one has a perfect sex life. No one is always having amazing sex all the time and never have issues. That's not a real thing. All right. It's the fuck fairy tale. There's so many people, I get so many questions that are like, how much sex should I be having? What's like, what do normal people have? Like, am I having enough sex? Is this okay? And it's like, if it's great for you and your partner, cool. That's all that matters. But, you have to take in consideration that things in life happen and they get in the way of your sex life, right? You have other priorities. So you're not always going to be prioritizing sex. And when you are, it's going to improve. So just like with anything else in life, we have to start thinking of sex like anything else in life, really all the other areas, our fitness, our finances, our relationships. We work at these things and they improve. So sex is the same way. And there's this expectation among so many people, most people, I would say, sex will figure itself out, right? And it's like, all right, I shouldn't have to work at this. It should just always feel good. I should just always be getting it. It's a natural part of life. Like, no, you have to work at it. You have to put in effort. I was watching a video yesterday with a sex educator named Tracy Cox. And she was saying, when we want to try new meals and we get excited about trying new foods, we go out of our way to go to different restaurants or learn different recipes or find different things that are different, things that are novel. Like, that takes some work, right? And that's the same with sex. I don't know if that was the best example to put in here, but you know what I mean? It's like we do it in all other ways. With our health, when we're working out, the more consistent we are in our fitness routine, the more we reap the benefits, right? And we're there every day. So it takes practice to get good at things in our life. And when we're not practicing or we're not mindful around those things, we tend to either stay where we are, maybe even get worse. Number three, mindfulness and relaxation. So you want to be able to practice these things or have a go-to mindfulness practice for you. I think everyone's different to a certain extent, but what's helped most of my clients is taking time to take deep breaths and learn what that feels like to just be fully relaxed and to prioritize being relaxed. This is going to help you stay in the moment. It's going to help you reduce daily stress. It can help alleviate performance anxiety, which is one of the top pressures that men have when it comes to sex. And it will also help you connect with your partner. So find some way something that you can use as mindfulness or relaxation technique that best fits in your life. All right, maybe it's reading for 15 minutes every morning with your coffee. Maybe it's doing a meditation on a walk, but have something that works for you. All right, number 4, healthy lifestyle habits. So, this is another way to improve your sex life because when you're eating right, when you are exercising regularly, you have improved energy, you tend to sleep better, you tend to just be an overall better person, right? Because you're taking care of yourself. You feel more confident. You feel like a sense of power and also a sense of ease kind of at the same time when you build healthy habits because you feel that discipline that you have within yourself and it feels good and you take pride in that, right? So it's very mentally beneficial as well as it is physically, and it will also help with erections. There's been a famous study that showed that even guys going on a walk for like 20 to 30 minutes, I think it was 30 minutes a day, helped with erection strength. Number 5, have things to do sexually that don't involve penetration. There's this obsession with men and penetration and making them feel like they're great in bed because they can penetrate and be really hard or they could penetrate for a long time when most women are not sexually satisfied from penetration alone. And there's so much more you could do. There's so many more skill sets you can build. And when you build these skill sets, you tend to gain a lot more sexual confidence because you have all these other skill sets. Plus, you probably get her off more and she'll enjoy the sex more when you're not so hyper focused on just penetration. All right. So try other things like just laying in bed naked together and touching, for a little bit before you go into everything. Maybe it's massaging each other. Maybe it's just, having like a sexy moment, or maybe you're just like slowly, I don't know, like dry humping on the couch. You're still wearing clothes and you're just teasing each other and playing. And to have these other areas, these other ways of connecting sexually without just strict penetration is gonna, like I said, give you more confidence because you have more skill sets, give her more pleasure because it's not all about penetration. She actually has time to warm up and get very aroused. And you're just both having more time to connect. All right. A lot of connection is lost when sex is just all about straight penetration. And that's why a lot of women don't want to have sex. Like it's not beneficial for them. It's not worth their time. It's not great. So I know that's hard to hear, but that's the reality. Anyway, woo, okay. Next one. Educate yourself. All right. This is going to improve your sex life because if you can learn about sexual health, if you can learn, and that means like having a positive mindset about it too. Not even positive, but just like being aware of who you are as a sexual individual, letting go of the shame that maybe you had from your past, being able to work through that, being able to talk to your partner about things you're unsure of when it comes to sex, things you want, things you want to know about her. You want to be able to know how to talk to someone about this and how to understand what you really want and how to learn about a woman's body and how to understand that we're all different when it comes to sex and there's no perfect sex. It's just what's perfect for you and your partner. So just the education and knowing what's honestly true when it comes to sex versus what we're just told will give you a lot of calm and reassurance. Because I know that even when I share things with my clients, they're like in shock and they're like, "Man, I wish I knew this my whole life." Like it would have relieved so much tension and anxiety. So sometimes just learning one thing can give you this aha moment of being like, "Wow, I've been worried about that all my life and I didn't have to." So education is really powerful. And a good way to do it is just head over to my Instagram or my YouTube, Stephanie Ganowski on YouTube, Steph Ganowski on Instagram, and you could start there. That's a really easy way to start educating yourself if you haven't started yet. All right, the next way to improve your sex life is to sometimes take breaks or take breaks whenever you need it. You know, it's okay to feel stress sometimes with life and maybe step back from sex and focus on other parts of your relationship, right? Sometimes if your relationship is in a rocky place because sex keeps getting brought up and you're upset with one another that you're not on the same page, sometimes that means stepping back from sex and working on rebuilding your connection and asking each other, what does that look like to you? What does it mean if we focused more on connecting as a couple before we got back into having sex? Like, what would we have to do? What would feel comfortable for you? What would be exciting? Like, what would make us feel like sex is the natural next step? And I think that's the best way to take a break because you're still active in building a great sex life, but you're taking a break from the actual sex until you understand, what do we need before the sex happens naturally and feels fulfilling and good for the two of us. The eighth way to improve your sex life is counseling or therapy. All right. So if you need help, if you feel like, because your partner should not be your therapist, right? Like you want to be able to talk to someone. You want to be able to talk to a professional if you have a lot of heavy shit that you're carrying from your past. A lot of guys who work with me have dealt with some past sexual shame that they don't want to talk to their partner about, and that's totally okay. You don't have to share with your partner every single thing if it doesn't involve them and it's not necessary. But working with someone, a professional, and talking through and just simply speaking out loud around things that are really getting in your way in your sex life can be so healing. Having someone to just be there with you to hear you out and then help you understand what it means or what the next steps to take are, like it's so powerful. So once again, if you need help with that and you want me to help you, you can head over to the description and fill out an application. The ninth way to improve your sex life is spending quality time with your partner outside the bedroom. There are so many couples who get in this place of only being flirtatious and romantic when it comes to the actual sex itself, and it feels so like distant. It feels so disconnected because it's like, okay, you're never like loving and flirty outside of sex. So it feels like you only use me for sex type thing. And this is a complaint from a lot of women. So you want to be able to spend quality time with your partner, whether it's romantic or not. Like really prioritizing being there with them, being present, doing something just the two of you, putting your phones away, doing more engaging things than just watching a movie. If you can really spend that time together with your partner and get to know your partner and believe that you don't know everything about your partner, so you keep that curious mindset, you keep wanting to learn about her, you're going to really bond and you're going to grow your relationship, and it's only going to help your sex life. All right. And lastly, variety and exploration. This might mean trying new things, exploring fantasies, and just changing up your routine a little bit because we need novelty. And it's important to bring things in that excite us and are a little different with our partner. Because if it's always the same, and guys will usually have more of a habit of doing this than women, it's kind of like if it's not broke, don't fix it mentality that a lot of guys use. But women actually have been known to get bored from sex a lot sooner and more often than men do. So you want to take this into consideration. Plus, it is going to be more fun for you. This does take communication because in order to change things up, you have to ask about it. You got to see what she thinks. I always say with clients, like the very first thing to do when it comes to this is make a list first of maybe like 3 things you want to try or even do just a little bit different. And see how they land with you. Try to pick one and just go with it and be like, okay, I'm either going to talk to her about this or maybe I'm going to do this. I'm going to initiate this sex position next time we're having sex. And that's a way to slowly change things up. And sometimes that's what it takes is just starting a little more, less intense and just more comfortable. Like, all right, if I was to go a little outside my comfort zone, do something a little bit different, what would I do? And then if you're at the place with your partner where you're both wanting to spice it up, I would say make that list and talk to her about it. Be like, "Hey, I was thinking trying some new things or like maybe even trying something crazy. Like what would you think about doing this?" I don't know, like driving up to the woods and like fucking outside. What do you think? And just get her opinion like that. And I always tell guys a really good, easy way to bring it up in conversation if it feels awkward is to say, literally start it with, all right, this is kind of random, but I was thinking, blah, blah, blah. Or blame it on me. I was listening to this podcast about sex and she was talking about this, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll bring that up to her. So I have this idea. What do you think? It's good for you to get in a habit, going back to the first point, communication, get into a habit of asking her what she thinks after you have an idea. Because what a lot of guys tend to do is they just say, hey, I have this idea, let's do it. And the woman automatically feels like, okay, well, you're not going to tell me what to do. Like, it's like this weird defense mechanism that happens where she shuts down if it's not her idea too. So really try to always engage her with whatever thoughts you have going on, ideas, and get her input on it. Like, make sure you figure it out as a team and it will go a lot better. So I know I breezed through these, but hopefully you took one or two that really struck you and you're like, all right, definitely can work on that. And figure out what 2 action steps you would take, let's say this weekend, for you to improve your sex life based on these 10 points. Hope it helped. I will see you in the next episode. Have an amazing morning, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I'll talk to you soon. I hope this episode helped you. If it did, I would love for you to leave me an iTunes review. It would mean the world to me. You can also screenshot your favorite episodes and tag me on Instagram at Steph Ganowski. And before I go, remember, your sex life is as good as you make it out to be. Until next time.